time for another update. It's been exactly 60 days since I planted the first round of plants, and you can see the tomatoes are looking pretty good. We've got a lot of blossom formation. You can see right there if the iPhone focuses on them. And we even got one tomato forming, which is right there. So not bad after 60 days. And you see we got one little tomato planted there. I took too long in putting the trellises in, and one of the big tomatoes I had in there committed suicide on me. It kind of fell off and broke off at the base, and that was the end of it. So live and learn. As soon as they start growing kind of big, get your trellis in. Cucumbers are doing well. We've got one over here. I got another one back in there ready to be picked soon. Most of the blossoms I'm getting are still males, but the number of female blossoms coming out seems to be increasing. Went ahead and installed these trellises. Again, these ones I should have done a little earlier. Already the cucumbers seem to be liking it. They seem to be gradually growing their way up through them. One issue I've been having, though, is that the amount of roots that these cucumbers put out really filled up the rails to the point where they actually start to push the cups out a little bit. The other issue the very high root density is causing is that the backside of these two larger cucumbers is the water levels are about an inch higher than I intended them to be, just because the water kind of backs up. Now originally I had actually planted the seeds directly into the net cups. I found out that's not the best way to do the system. It's best to get some seeds started under lights using a synthetic polyester-based seeding-based material, and then go ahead and transplant them out using these little foam plugs. And that, I found out, does a really good job of keeping the fog contained. I started using a lot less nutrient solution. I had a lot less issues with salt buildup inside the greenhouse. And if you let the plants get somewhat of a root system going before transplanting them outside, much better with heat resistance. When we ended up with some upper 90 degrees temperatures with the nutrient solution going well over 100 degrees, I ended up bringing a lot of the small plants back indoors, keep under lights until things cooled off and until they got a good root system going. Plants in particular, like lettuce, really didn't like the heat that much. Now that we've got some cooler weather, it's doing a lot better. Let me back up here so you guys can get a view of everything that's growing. These little guys here, they're about, what did I put them at? Transplanted them about here about 3 weeks ago. And this is just some mixed greens, and they're doing pretty well. Brussels sprouts look excellent, though I'm not really sure how long it takes before them to start producing sprouts, but I gotta look that up. And over here, just install this as we enter the colder weather. Eventually I'm going to have these heat lamps tied into a thermostat. If it starts going below a certain set point, they will kick on automatically. And I got them pointed to help heat up the plants. I think between that and a reservoir heater I purchased, I should be able to survive the coldest weather, no problem. The 6 mil plastic I have here for now, this is just temporary. This is going to be replaced with 3-layer, triple insulated polycarbonate panels, which should give a much higher R value than what I have here. And also, this plastic here, it's not going to survive a snow loading. And looking at the longer-term weather trends, I suspect we are going to have probably the coldest winters for the Northeast since the 1970s. So this is something I want to get changed out in November. And this reservoir tank, I picked up an Igloo cooler off of Amazon cheap. I'm going to replace this with the Igloo cooler, which is actually going to go outside of the greenhouse. Found out keeping the reservoir tanks in here just makes them, they get too hot. and you get too much variation in the temperatures, which is rough on the plants. So I've learned that the reservoirs need to go outside. Also, by removing the reservoirs from inside the greenhouse, I should be able to lower these racks a little bit more, give a little more growing height and space. Over the next couple weeks, see over this side here, we don't have anything yet. I'm going to build the next generation of rails, and I'm going to have a number of design improvements from things I learned from building the first set. Also, over this space over here, I'm going to build another set, more compact, for lettuce, spinach, other plants that don't take up a whole lot of room. I'm expecting I should be able to fit in between 75 to 80, maybe as high as 90 plants in this greenhouse, which is approximately 16 feet by 6 feet. And if all that goes well, I should be able to have enough stuff here to keep me going through the winter, no problem. Well, anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.